Hi, this is Grace Marr with OTR Capital. Excited to be here tonight for our first live YouTube of 2021. And I'm with Delmard Wood of RDL Trucking. Delmard, thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is it's exciting. I'm ready for it. I really, honestly, all week I've been ready to do this. So to drop these gems. So let's get to it.
We're going to do a lot of these this year.
We are?
We're going to bring a lot of topics. Absolutely. It's a big year for OTR, you know.
What I heard of this.
It's our 10-year anniversary.
Woo.
Yes. 10 years this summer. We are so excited. And how long have you been with us?
6 years.
Okay. And how long have you been in trucking?
16 years. So
tell us about it.
That's the special thing about what I do. I actually drove trucks. So I'm a little different from the guys who just starting companies and haven't never driven. So 16 years for me, 7 years I drove for Swift. I know, don't roast me off. I had to start somewhere. And Swift was a good company.
Yeah.
They're a good company.
We got to start.
Yeah. So 7 years as a company driver, 3 years for another guy. And basically I was an owner operator over there. So I learned how to manage the trucks and drivers and all that stuff. So I kind of got a feel for getting your own authority. And getting on authority was tough. I lost money.
Yeah, the first year was rough.
It was extremely rough.
And you wish you knew some things we're going to hopefully talk about.
Yes, I was looking for this stuff right here. To me, it didn't exist.
Right.
So I'm so happy just to drop this stuff for y'all. So.
Well, we're glad you're here, and we're glad everybody's watching. If you have questions or comments, make sure that you put them in the comments section.
Put them in the comments.
We will ask Delmard, and we will get to it. Thank you so much for being here. First thing we wanted to talk about a little bit, obviously, savings.
Yeah.
How do you get your trucking company started, and how much did you know that you need to save?
What I did when I first started was I tapped into my 401k. I didn't have savings.
Right.
And a lot of people don't have savings of a nest egg that big, but I tapped into my 401k. I invested in myself. I betted on myself. So I pulled from there, and it wasn't much. So it was a little gamble.
Risk.
It's big risk, right?
Yeah.
I think I pulled like 6,000 out of there. But to be comfortable in trucking, I suggest you have anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 if you want to start out with a trucking company, because it don't take much for you to go out of business.
I think I read somewhere the amount of repairs you can expect in that first year is somewhere around 15,000.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Easy.
Okay.
And most of the people who jump out of trucking now are buying used trucks, which is nothing wrong with used trucks.
Right.
Because the new trucks, 2021 trucks and 2020s, they're expensive to have those trucks. You're paying those monthly payments. So getting a used truck, maybe 2, 3, 4 years old, that's the move. But keep in mind, it does come with a cost. You end up having blowouts, alternators, turbos, injectors. That stuff can add up.
OTR has equipment financing now, right?
Really?
Truckerify.
Okay.
Yes. So I just want to mention that if you're talking about getting a truck, we do have equipment financing now. Everybody's been asking for years. It's one of the products we added just last year.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's a good way right there.
Okay. Well, let me digress this.
Okay.
So let's go back to you and the truck.
Okay.
Let's talk about Lemon.
Ooh, you gonna do it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
Here's the story with Lemon. My first truck was a yellow Freightliner 07 Century. It's yellow. And it broke down like 8 times in like 2 months. And it cost me like $9,000. The mechanics used to call me Lemon. That's what it came from. I used to pull up into the yard. They said, "Oh, that Lemon is. Come on and bring it in the shop." They just kind of waved me in. I'm like, I'm not even breaking down. I'm coming home. I'm popping my brakes to go home.
Right.
So I learned a valuable lesson with saving because of that truck. After the first 9 or 10 breakdowns, I started saving every penny. I worked at Swift and I was a company driver. So the money I made, I felt like if I'm an owner operator, I could still survive off the pay I was with a company driver. So every check I started to save, from like $1,500 a week.
Okay. Until
I built up a nice nest egg. So the beautiful part about that was I saved like $20,000.
Well, you were
because I didn't have any more breakdowns.
Right. Well, so when did you leave Swift to start your own trucking company? How did you know it was time?
Quick story. So I'm at the Love's truck stop and I seen a guy I used to work at Swift. He left, went on, got his own authority. He said, "Hey, what's going on, Delmard? What's going on, buddy? I'm going in getting the fuel." He's like, "Man, you still with Swift?" I said, "Yeah." He just looked at me all weird. He was like, "Man, I thought you would have moved on by now." He kind of looked at me like he felt sorry for me. I immediately called my wife. I'm like, "Man, this guy looked at me like I should know better." So I was like, "Man, maybe it's something about being an owner operator." So immediately I was like, you know what? I was already felt led, but then I started looking into it. I was like, okay, I did all the research. I Googled, looked at YouTube videos. I looked at, people like myself on there, and I just like, you know what, I'm gonna take that leap.
Right.
And I'm so glad I did it. It changed my life forever. And all I want to do is provide for my family. That was my main goal. And be able to have extra money to go out and get some food, Red Lobster, shout out to Red Lobster, y'all want to do some sponsorship. We ready. But just the extra stuff that I felt like we deserved. And once I got a taste of the own operating money, I was like, you know what, I'm never going back. I had an extra $700, $800. I'm like, okay, this is the business. I'm going to something.
Well, it's been amazing to see you grow because we've been together since you went out and you became an owner operator and you started on your own. And so we've seen your growth and we've seen how well you've done. And it's been truly amazing. What would you say from the savings perspective? What other advice would you give someone?
Credit. That's one thing I did before I started too. I realized that my credit wasn't the best. So I was like, you know what? Let me see what I can do to fix this credit here, to tinker up with it, so I can be able to get the best interest rate when it comes to this truck. So I was like, you know what? I started reading books. And I got something coming out in a couple of weeks too. It's basically our ebook that I got about cleaning your credit up. Yeah, I'm gonna drop it on Trailer Storm. It's coming real soon. So I know, right?
That's great.
A little something new.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, I'm gonna end up dropping it. But so you guys, make sure you check my page, and I'm gonna be dropping that book on there just to show you guys how to clean your credit up so you can get the best interest rates on your trucks and get loans, man. So back to answer your question, leverage your credit so you don't have to use all your capital.
Right.
It's okay to have some savings, but it's not okay to spend it all either. If you got good credit, decent credit, figure out ways to get bigger credit, getting a line of credit, getting credit cards, and just really just leveraging that the best way you can, because you may have a breakdown and you can pay that credit card off. Slide a credit card for the mechanical bill, buy yourself some time, go back out there and bust your butt, work hard, bring that revenue back out, pay the card off. You're buying yourself time.
Right.
Use credit to leverage your business.
When do you know you keep repairing the truck versus just go get a new one?
Oh,
Okay.
But to explain that, basically, I felt like my lemon it was heading that direction. But after the second month, it kind of smoothed out for me. One of the ways you need to avoid not getting a lemon is getting a mechanic to comb over that truck when you first bought it. Before you buy it, get them to go out there, let them check over the top and bottom of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Pay them $25, $40 to look over that truck and make sure, crank it up, warm it up, let that thing whip. See if it's dripping some oil, and then let you test it out. Let your mechanic drive with it. You save yourself so much money because you catch the profit in the beginning.
Well, we talked a lot about pre-trip, post-trip inspections, and how much do you do that, and how much does that matter with your,
I was a lazy driver. Swift, they spoiled me. I always had a brand new truck.
Right.
So honestly, y'all, we know how it goes, especially drivers. I didn't pre-trip every day like I was supposed to. It was a new truck.
Come on, Delmard.
It was brand new. It had like 10,000 miles on it. What's from the break? So that habit of not checking spilled over when I became an owner operator. So I wasn't checking the coolant like I was supposed to, the tires, the oil. It backfired on me because I was lazy. So I tell anybody who's starting out, who wants to be an owner operator, and you're a company driver, get in the good habits of pre-tripping your truck right now. Because had I took those good habits that I got now from the beginning and turned them over when I became an owner operator, I would have caught the leaky coolant. I would have caught the belt that's about to break. I would have caught the tire that's flat. I would have caught so many issues that I just didn't pay attention to. So pre-tripping is so important.
Right.
It's so important. Get out and look at that truck. It's your livelihood on it. If you want to grow, if you want to be the best at what you're doing, pre-trip that truck.
Awesome.
And trailer.
I want to say hi to Burnett. I see you, and it's great to have you here tonight. Thanks, Burnett, for showing up and watching. So let's talk a little bit about saving when you're out on the road. What kinds of things can you do? We talked a little bit about speed, even fuel costs, fuel efficiency. I mean, how cognizant are you about that, and how much do you talk to your drivers about that?
It's a tough one, especially when it comes to the food. We don't have a lot of selections. They're not setting up a lot of areas for big trucks to come in and eat inexpensive meals.
Right.
They know we have no choice but to eat whatever they plop that truck stop down or the rest area. But some ways you can save is packing lunch, get a cooler with ice, buying lunch meat, fruits and stuff, and put it inside. You can buy a refrigerator. I think it's like what, $200 or something like that.
Yeah, invest in a refrigerator and bring food with you, because if you're eating out every meal, I mean, it seems obvious, but it adds up really quickly.
It does, but people got to keep in mind, we don't have the luxury of 9-to-5 jobs, so we can walk outside and go get Chipotle. What's up, Chipotle? You want to do a sponsorship?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
But no, just different places like that.
Right.
So, but that's the sweet part about, me now where I'm at, I understand how the drivers feel. So I tell them you can whip it up in the Walmart sometimes. I'm not saying go to Walmart and park, y'all.
But we're not signing off on that.
No, and Walmart, what's up? But but you can go to the Walmarts and park and go to the different restaurants over there and eat. I love doing it. I used to go to the restaurants and Chili's and stuff like that, parking and go get me a good meal.
Yeah.
But I know we've tried
to. How do you stay in shape when you're out there?
How to stay in shape?
Is there a fitness routine?
Yeah, I used to get in the back and I used to do about 2 or 3 push-ups every other night, and just trying to keep. I'm just joking though. No, but it's extremely hard because you're in the truck. And getting out is kind of weird out there doing push-ups in the parking lot, doing like some squats. You be the random dude in the dark doing squats, but it can be done. You can get a jump rope, you can get some dumbbells in the back. Right. You can really get it in, and it's tough. And especially when you get to the shippers and stuff. It's a lot of times there's not a lot of people out there at the shippers and the co-signees, just 5 or 6 guys, and they'll let you walk around the parking lot. Mm-hmm. Put some weights on your ankles and walk around. Anything to kind of get us going to get our blood pumping. So that's important. Health is everything. You can make all the money in the world, but if you can't spend it because you're unhealthy or you're not here, what's the purpose?
Maybe that's our next webinar, fitness at the truck stop.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I'm going to do some push-ups tonight since we're going to talk about that later.
We'll bring that.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
So back to fuel efficiency, though. Idling, even driving 75 miles per hour and taking that down to 65 miles per hour, that can save 27% of your fuel consumption.
Yes.
How much do you think about how fast you're going?
Most of the time, you should always think about it, especially if you want to save money. As an owner-operator, everything about is savings. This can save you thousands at the end of the year, believe it or not.
Right.
Idling and not going fast. I know it's tough not to idle because we want to be comfortable as possible when we're in the truck. But you can cut it off when you get to the truck stops. You can cut it off when you get to the shippers, the co-signees, when you get to the guard shack. All that stuff adds up, right? And keep it at under 75.
Well, I read, I think 5 hours of idle time can add up to over $100, $200 a week in gas.
Yeah.
That's a lot,
It is a lot. And everything adds as on operator. I learned that too when I jumped out.
Right.
I just let it idle when I was with the other company. I just let it just do it. But when I got on my own, I'm like, whoa, I got to cut this out.
Right.
So idling and staying under the speed because sometimes we just want to get home. So, we ain't looking at, we at 75 miles.
I think you told me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're doing 65.
And Thursday and Friday, I'm like, I'm about to get it. I'm fast and furious. Legally,
right.
But it's tough trying to save every dollar at every moment because you just want to be comfortable as possible. But these are tips that can help you save money. And if you were looking for ways to save, cut down on the idling, cut down on speeding, because at the end of the day, as long as you get to the shipper and co-signee on time, that's what's important. Mm-hmm. Getting there 15 minutes early, it doesn't change much for you. So saving on all those things is important.
So let's talk a little bit about the current environment in freight. It's great. I think considering a January at that, coming off 2020, obviously COVID was crazy, but freight rates have been as best as they've ever been. Everyone's doing really, really well. Are you cognizant right now of saving while rates are what they are? And are you prepared to see them
dip off? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I am, because I've seen the ugly. Trucking is up and down, and it's terrible. 1 minute you eat Red Lobster, the next thing you eat like a sandwich with mayonnaise in the middle. It's like, oh my goodness. I look at it like this: save when it's up, save when it's down, because at some point it's going to plateau off. So right now, the rates are like kind of shaky in this month of February. It always does that around this time. And around March and April, it picks back up, right? But it's a little unorthodox because of COVID. But I'll just say the main thing is don't spend all your money when you're making it right now drive. I know, because it doesn't always come in like that. It just never does. It doesn't.
Right. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years. If there's one thing I know, it's that freight is cyclical. Like it goes up, it goes down.
Goodness.
We've seen the good times. We've seen the bad times. I've seen when you've done really well. Yes. The worst is, how many friends we've had over the years, how many amazing relationships. Burnett, you're on, Zoka, Ashley, all of my friends in trucking. Yep. And I know that sometimes it's been really crazy and bad. Yeah. And so it's right now when things are great, you put a little bit aside because sometimes,
at some point it's going to get you.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. It's been times where I made a lot of money in a couple months. I'm like, oh, it's great. I'm in a good position. And in like 3 months, you go by, you got breakdowns, drivers quitting, just freight slow, just life in between. And I look up, I was like, man, all that profit I made 2 months ago, it done plateaued off. I thought I made an extra 4,000. Now that's gone. And it sucks.
Right.
It sucks like, man, people think we rolling dough out here because we got a truck and trailer. That's a mistake that a lot of drivers, a lot of people that jumping out here now thinking, if I just get a truck and trailer, I'm just going to be rich.
No, it don't work like that.
No, it doesn't. And that's sad because you get out here and you get the best truck and get the best trailer and you wonder why freight sucks or why your driver's not communicating with you. And that's something we're going to touch on too, on the driver stuff, right?
We're going to talk about drivers. We're going to talk about finding freight. We're going to talk about a lot of things. But I've got a question from Booker. Booker, thanks for watching. Okay. He wants to know, do you have any advice about collecting detention?
Yes. It's tricky too because their job is to make sure that don't bite me, don't beat me up on this brokers. Most of the time, y'all don't want to pay detention. It just don't. So what I tell my drivers, look, I'm gonna give you a part of this percentage of this detention, because a lot of times the driver tend to forget, especially if you ain't paying them none of it, or if you get the signatures, if you got the in and out times, he didn't talk to the right person to get the signatures. These are the main things I tell my drivers. When you get there after 2 hours, what I do is I send a scheduled text message. So if I know your appointment at 3, I go on my phone, send a scheduled text message at 5. Are you loaded? If not, why not? Who did you talk to? So I can tell the broker immediately right now. Hey, Chase, my driver's not unloaded. He talked to Sarah. Sarah said they still loading up the trailer. It's gonna be another 2 hours. Boom, hang the phone up. Your job is, and send an email too.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, so we've been doing this a long time. Yeah. Obviously, we pay on detention and factor that, and we always want to verify that, and we fight for it for our clients and our carriers. And we will call and say, hey, listen, you've got in and out times on the proof of delivery, but you want to get an email from the broker. You want to say, hey, this is when I got there.
Yeah. I love doing that because I screenshot, bam, and I send it to them like, oh, I'm going to get this detention. Right. And
as you should.
Right. And another thing about detention, I tell a lot of people, the brokers, when I deal with them, they'll say, oh, our detention is $25 an hour. I'm off the rip. I'm like, look, I need it to be 35 or 40. And I need you to put that in the comments on the rate card. Don't tell me verbally it's 25 or 35. That ain't good enough for me. Put it under the comments so I know it's real. Right. So when you do that, I sign off and send it back to you. When it's time for detention, guess what? I'm scooping that right over there. Don't tell me it's 25. On that rate card, it says 35. I'm going to need that.
Right. So, that's so smart. Anything you can get on a rate card, get on a rate card.
Yes, that's important.
Absolutely. We've got another question from Jonathan. Let me get this for you. Jonathan, thanks for watching. So do you mainly use the credit card for breakdowns and expenses, or do you use it for fuel discounts through a credit card?
Oh, no. Okay. I don't do the fuel discounts with a credit card. I did that.
Right.
What happened was I wasn't responsible enough to do it. I was using the fuel card, wasn't making enough money, or I had bad weeks and I had to pay that balance. And it didn't work for me. So I went through OTR. This is not a plug. This is just truth. I started letting them deduct it and take it out of my rate, take it out of my load, and put it on my fuel card for the discounts. It made so much more sense for me. I used a credit card for emergencies. I didn't want to deplete my savings just to fix something mechanical. So I used my credit card, when I needed to. I played around with it because you need to keep some capital in there. Keeping money in your bank account helps you to get loans from the bank. One of the reasons why I didn't say this early, but my wife, I never like to talk to people. Believe it or not, I talk.
Really?
Right? No. That's hard to believe, right? Yeah. I was like, okay. My wife said, you got to open up and talk to people about business. So I talked to the guy. I said, hey, the very first guy I talked to, I'll make sure I say this. The very first person I talked to, I said, hey, bro, how do I get a loan for another truck or whatever? Because I had enough money.
Right.
He said, put your money in this bank. 2 months, go back and revisit. Get yourself a loan. I did it because I had money in the bank. So having money in the bank that's important.
Right.
So don't use all your money. Use that. Use the leverage. You can walk in there and get a line of credit, or go in there and get a loan. So you got to play around with it. A little bit of credit card, a little bit of cash.
All right, great.
Yeah.
What other advice do you have for us on savings?
Ooh, let's see. Hey, hold up. Let's check the comments. I feel like somebody got some more comments in there.
Let's see.
Savings is everything, I tell you.
Well, going back to talking about networking and talking to people and your wife saying that, what's the best piece of advice you ever got in trucking?
Best piece of advice. Let's see. Longevity. That's like they always say, think long term. Because I was short term thinking, buying used tires. There's nothing wrong with that. But then the used tires, I kept replacing them a lot more. They selling me default like tires got patches inside. I didn't know because you look at the tread and don't realize that tire been compromised. So you put it on there and have a blowout. Put it on that DOT pull you over because it's only good for 3 months.
Right.
And you don't keep up the fact that tire only good for 3 months. You go through and DOT shuts you down because of tire bad. So I always start to buy new tires. So I started thinking long term on everything I do. Stop being cheap when it comes to replacing stuff on the engine, cutting corners as much. I stopped doing that stuff. So always think long term, especially when it comes to trucking. CSA score.
Right, make the smart investment up front. Like just spend a little extra, get the right stuff.
All that.
Right.
All that's important. Think long term insurance. Short term and have you shut down. You be conditional and nobody want to deal with you. So always think long term in trucking when it comes to it.
How are you prepared for safety audits and the safety aspect, which is very expensive as well when you first got in? Like, how did you know what you needed to do?
Well, I did a lot of Googling. OIDA is a company that I reached out to, and they always gave out so much great information. And talking to my insurance agents, they was always telling me, like, Delmard, if you want to save money and reduce your, the premiums and all that, this is what you need to do. They sent me like a list of stuff on what to do and what not to do. Like, don't do this. Make sure you're checking that. And I'm like, that's pretty dope.
Right.
So then Marquis did it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with Marquis. So Marquis gave me a list of things to reduce it. So
we're sponsored by Marquis Insurance Group tonight.
Okay.
Yes. Nice. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Hey,
absolutely amazing.
Shout out Marquis.
You get a free insurance quote at any time through OTR Capital. Yes. Back to that insurance.
But insurance is important. That was my main thing. When I first started, insurance was so expensive for me. I was like, are we going to talk about that later too? Or
Yeah, we'll talk about insurance and drivers and dispatching and the whole nine, but we can talk about it. Yeah.
Don't take the first offer with insurance. Shop around, I took the first person that said yes to me. I was so excited to get on the road. And it was so expensive. I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world did I got myself into? So, but that's all I'm gonna talk about on there. We're gonna leave that. But just know, shop it around. Right. Just let them do that. You can get better rates and everything, and all based on the very first person telling you yes to something. So,
where do you find Anthony? Thanks for watching. Where do you find your drivers?
Ooh, that's so tricky, y'all.
That's probably, I just got to say, that is probably one of the biggest questions we've gotten over the years. How do you find drivers? How do you keep drivers? Want to dive into this whole, let's talk about it.
Okay. So I've had some bad experience with Craigslist. I'm not saying everybody needs to go there, but I've got a couple good drivers off of Craigslist. I'm plugging these businesses now because they ain't doing no sponsorship or nothing, but I'm going to throw them out there. Indeed, I find it more rewarding when you do free.
Right.
Instead of paying for it. It seems like I get more hits on the free side of Indeed, opposed to paying for some daily rate. And what I do is a little gem for y'all. I copy what the big guys say. So if I see a Brown or Swift, I get some of their words and I take it, because sometimes as a small guy, you don't know what to say in order to reel the guy in. So I'll take a piece of what Brown said, a piece of what Swift said, and I'll put it in there.
Right.
There's like, hey, you would be home every other night. I don't know how to get the wording together, but I chop it all up and I paste that bad boy on there and I look extra professional, which I am already, but they don't know the difference.
Well, you're going to treat your drivers really well.
Absolutely. I've had guys that have been with me for 5 and 6 years. So, but I've learned how to kind of retain them too, as well, and give them.
What's your best piece of advice for retaining a driver?
Respect.
Right.
Don't treat them like a driver number. These are human beings. These are men. These are women that are working for you. Give them respect that they deserve. They're professionals. Give it to them and pay them. Pay them. Quit. Don't be so greedy, y'all.
Right.
Do you want profit for 2 weeks and you down for 4 weeks because you're trying to start the drive out? Pay these guys what they deserve. They earned it.
Well, and you talked a little bit about, retention and as far as giving them incentives. Like it doesn't always have to be per mile.
Right. You can do things like, at the end of the week, if you get so many loads, I give you a bonus. At the end of the month, if you get this a certain amount of revenue, I give you a bonus. if you get so many, I tell guys, if you do the detention, you get so much detention, I end up giving you one of the days on detention, the whole thing. Just different things to kind of keep them, engaged, and they feel like I'm not trying to suck all the money out. Although we do have a lot of overhead, but if we don't have the drivers, we don't have nothing. We live and die by the drivers. Let's treat them right. That's important.
Absolutely. So Booker's got another question for us. What's your advice on driver pay percentage versus cost per mile?
And that depends on the driver. It depends on the owner. The owner may have expensive equipment. It depends on your overhead. But a rule of thumb, I'm going to say, I treat my guys a little different on mine. I can give you your
secret?
I can give you a little secret sauce. I always give a little analogy like this. I say, do you want to eat lobster every single day? The next week you don't eat anything? Or do you want a meal every single day? I try to give them consistency. So I give them a salary in a way. And if you reach a certain amount of loads, I give you extra. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's nothing worse than a driver having $1,800 this week and $400 the next week.
Right.
He or she has bills. They don't want to be like, oh God, I only make $400 this week. Get it to a point that these guys have a consistent check so they can feel good about if they're having a bad or good week. So consistency is everything when it comes to pay.
Absolutely. I've got another question. Before becoming an owner operator, should you start off driving for a company like Swift? Can you go into this business? Can you just, if you've got the right network and you've got a factoring company and can you just enter? You
can. It's extremely difficult.
Right.
It's extremely difficult.
How much did that help you get started? Because you drove for Swift for 6 years,
It helps so much because I got drivers out of so many issues because I know the business. I know if you're having a problem sliding your tandems, if you're having a problem with your truck, I can explain to him what you should do, how you should do it. So having that experience helped me get over the hump. But can you do it without that, without the experience I got? Right. Yes, you can. You got to get yourself some mentorship. You got to get somebody like myself and others who genuinely going to sit there and walk you through it. And I think we're talking about doing something together about some mentorship on here and really just helping drivers out, the guys who want to jump into it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would love for us to continue to do things like this, via YouTube Live and just, we talked about OTR University and just bring some of these amazing clients that we've worked with for years, like yourself, that have so much knowledge and are willing to share that information and bringing that to everybody, because it's just, there's a ton of freight out there.
It is
not for everybody, right?
It is. And a lot of people have jumped into trucking because of COVID. After everything shut down, it seemed like it was so many people that want to do trucking all of a sudden, but then a lot of these people are going to fail because they don't have the knowledge and information that we're giving out right here. They think because I got a truck and trailer, I'm going to win. Right. It's way more to it. It's a lot. It's day to day. It's day to day things. That's so important in this business. Awesome. So yeah. Get yourself a mentor.
All right, let's see. We've got more questions. This is exciting.
Keep them coming, y'all.
Yeah. As a new career, what is the best pay percentage for a driver?
New career? I'm assuming they probably had 1 or 2 years or something.
I guess, if they're a new driver coming with a brand new CDL, what's the best pay percentage, you think?
Yeah, 40, I'll say about 37 cents a mile. Okay. It's about an average for a new guy. If you got your own authority, that's a little tough because a lot of people don't deal with new drivers. They normally want 1 year or more. Right. But after 1 year, I feel like 40 cents, 39 cents is a decent enough, for a new guy coming out. And it's by case because sometimes you may have a hard time finding a driver and you may have to pay a little bit more to get them. You don't want your truck and trailer and you got your authority and insurance going and you're like, man, I want to stick to that 37 cents. And you can't hire him because he wanted 40 cents. Pay the 40, get going. Right. It's okay.
What about reefers? You put a new guy on a reefer?
Ooh, that's tough.
Right.
You really have to evaluate the driver because that takes a lot of thorough, like checking on the temps and making sure this guy is really present when it comes to that reefer. So would I do it? It just depends on the driver. I'll let him do some dry freight with the reefer first, just to get a feel. Is he responsible enough to scrap the loads down in the back? How's he, driving? Is anything shifting around? Get a feel for the driver first to see if you want to get to the reefer, because all it takes for you and him not to pay attention to the temp or, to them to that temp go down, they got to dispose of a load. It's an insurance claim. Right. So
I can't tell you from the claims that we've seen at OTR over the years, the reefer claims are by far the scariest. Yes. it always seems to be something as simple as like the reefer just wasn't put on.
Yep.
You know, and it's a new guy truck, and the reefer just wasn't. And the asparagus costs a lot, $80,000. You know, on blueberries or asparagus. It is crazy. It's totally insane.
So yeah, definitely evaluate the driver. Just kind of get a feel for them. See if they're real meticulous. You know, they're paying attention to a lot of stuff.
Right.
So that's important. So be diligent about it, whoever you're dealing with when it comes to that.
All right, everyone, it's 8:30. We've got time for a few more questions from you all that are watching. I've got some fun questions for Delmard as well.
All right.
You know, wanted to kind of just keep it fun and ask you, let's see, what's the wildest thing you or one of your drivers has ever hauled?
Ooh, wildest. Some FEMA stuff.
Yeah.
We had some FEMA stuff for y'all. It was some weird stuff in the back. They just kind of slung it in there. I know they really needed it, so it was blankets, it was batteries, water. The reason why I say it's the weirdest because when we got there, they were like, hey, what's in the back? We was like, it's blankets. And then when they start peeling it back, it's like, it's batteries back here, it's water. It was just weird stuff they just slung in there. And they was looking like, did y'all know what y'all picked up? We was like, yeah, we did, but we didn't know it was all mixed up. So the driver had to go to like 8 different places to unload.
Yeah.
Which it was just time consuming as I don't know what. But
I
that's
bet.
the weirdest for
but
me.
FEMA freight pays good.
It
so
does.
we're not upset about it.
No,
we'll
not at all.
go anywhere you want us to.
Yeah.
Drop.
No, for real, they really do pay.
Yeah. No, they
Maybe
do.
we should do that one day.
Yeah, we should talk FEMA. Somebody's asking what companies give out the best dedicated lanes. Find FEMA dedicated. No, right. That's
but so the best dedicated lanes. What you do is, if you're out, I built my business off the load board. Load board. Let me tell you some gems I did on it. Trucker's Edge. So I go in there and make a post, and I tell them what I like the most. Okay. If I like going to Birmingham, I said Atlanta to Birmingham. So I post it, and I do it every single day till I find somebody who has a dedicated route. So whatever you're looking for dedicated, go on these load boards. That's how you get your name out there. Nobody knows who you are because your MC went active. You got to tell the world who you are by going on these load boards. I know it's a little skittish out there, but at the end of the day, that's where you start. So yeah, the load board, that's the best way.
Dadon commented, and he loves your shirt, Delmar.
Oh, cool.
Can we talk about your shirt?
Oh, yeah. Ownership. Now, I own the largest African-American trailer leasing company in Georgia. That. So ownership is everything to me. I retain this this kind of mindset of, whatever I buy, I'm going to keep. And I'm going to turn that liability to an asset. So that asset generate income. So I always say, man, I always want to own something. So ownership is important to me. And I will have these T-shirts on next week on Trailer Strong on Instagram for sale too as well. So if you like what you see, I have them on there posted so you guys can get them.
I love it. Yeah. I want one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I got you. Bring one for the next show, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, great. What kind of advice can you offer to someone hiring or managing new drivers to help them stay successful, or to pass along to new drivers? Like, what's the best piece of advice you would give to a new driver as well?
A new driver? Be patient. Be patient with your the driver manager, especially if they're both new. He and she are learning this business, so it's a learning curve. Be patient with each other and think longevity. Don't think about, I'm not making the money I want to make in the beginning because if he or she take off and you got used in the beginning, guess what? They're going to take care of you most of the time. So just be patient and just learn with each other. Learn and give each other advice.
Yeah, I was going to say too, when you're picking up or delivering, being really great with the warehouse managers, and you don't realize how often they'll say, I want that driver and that truck back.
They do.
And they will rebook simply based on the ease of the driver and how great of an experience that was.
Yeah, that's important too.
Burnett, you get business that way all the time, don't you?
I end up getting some business out of Faber in the same way. My drivers and I, we go in there talking to them, and they just loved us. It's like, man, we love you. We're gonna talk to the broker about you guys because we understood everybody. We'll put trailers in there. We'll move things around for them. Just made it so easy that to the point it's like they wanted us, and it became a dedicated route. So customer service is important. That's important in retaining new business and gaining and keeping the business that you got.
Right.
Talking and communicating with each other and the shippers and the brokers. Over communicate. That's important. Communication is number one to building longevity in trucking.
Love it. So who handles your DOT compliance?
I had let me tell you a story about that. So I end up going conditional because my drivers was going through the scales before we had before we had e-law.
Right.
I ask, man, you do your logs, man? They say, yeah, we did them. And they get on that, leave all kind of stuff out. And I got pulled over and went condition. That was terrible for us. Right. And you guys walked us through it too, by the way. And I learned a valuable lesson because I had to get a company to come through and just reevaluate my safety stuff. So they changed it. They gave me a lot of rules on stuff I need to do. So I ended up getting a whole little pamphlet on how to run my DOT. So I do, and another lady who works with me, we really implement safety. So getting guidelines for this stuff. Right. That's important because if you ever get an audit through DOT, they'll come in there and start going through all your stuff and say, what are your safety measures? What are you doing if they get multiple violations on their logs? Right. What are you doing when they don't do their PreTrip? What do you, because if you have an accident, if you're not on top of that stuff, they can come back at you and shut you down.
Well, we do have a great safety partner too in Simplex. So if you're interested, we've got someone. Yeah, we've got someone we can definitely help you out with that. Burker wants to know, what kind of trailers do you rent?
Dry van 53-foot and reefers. So no flatbeds at the moment, but those are the main things I really focus on in those. And it's a drop right now. And I do have a few, so you guys can reach out on Trailer Strong and give me a shout. So it's an easy process too. There's no credit checks. You have to have a certain amount of revenue. So
yeah, everyone's asking how they can, get to know you more. We will have them reach out to you at Trailer Strong on Instagram. But Delmard will be around a lot, so he's not going anywhere. No. Don't worry, he's a resource and he's staying.
Yes,
he's going to be here. Hey, James Brothers, Elbridge, Curtis, thanks for watching. Great to see you. Let's see, what other questions do we have? We talked about the description. Oh, I've got more questions for you. Okay, so you're riding down the road. How many kids still give you the honk sign?
Oh, I get that all the time.
You do?
I love it. It was one time I blew the horn like 10 times for a kid in the back. And mom ended up like smacking the baby, like, quit making him blow the horn. I was like, I would love it. I would just lay on it. Sometimes it scared the hell out of people when I do it. Right. Because the kids in the back like, I got it. But I love it. So that's awesome.
Right. What's your favorite way to stay entertained when you're out on the road?
Music. I love listening to music.
Are you a podcast guy?
I'm a podcast guy. Okay. I'm a podcast guy. Satellite. I just like listening to albums too when they drop. You can really like take it in. I'm more of a music kind of guy. So music is my thing.
I love it. What's your favorite album?
Ooh, favorite album. Look at you.
Sorry, it's an on the spot one. So,
it is on the spot. Yeah. Okay.
All right. It doesn't have to be favorite. Just like one of the favorites.
I really like. I don't want to just say nothing crazy. I'm gonna think about this really quickly. So I like Outkast. Okay. I love all their stuff. Yeah. So and let me see what else I love. Let's see. Oh, we'll leave it at that before I name because they're gonna be a Rolodex stuff. But Outkast, I really like that.
Love it. Do you? This is a question. Do you use TQL?
Yes, a lot, a whole lot.
Yeah,
I do like them. I hear people say they can be difficult sometimes, but it depends on the person you're dealing with. That's important too.
Just about relationships anywhere you go, right?
It is. One person doesn't define the whole company all the time. Right. Because it's like a bad apple. Like you can have a bad driver who goes in there with a bad attitude. That doesn't make RDL Trucking a bad company because he was having a bad day.
Right.
He doesn't define me. In a degree, he does and he doesn't. But same thing with TQI. I heard them people say some stuff, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah. And I built a great relationship with them. I'm a diamond trucking company for them, whatever. They got like ratings. I'm a diamond guy. So
great.
They send me a plaque and everything. Shout out TQA.
Yeah.
What's up?
Awesome. How much do truckers still use their CB radios?
Not as much no more.
Really?
Yeah. The new trucks don't even put the CBs in anymore. They say it's a distraction. Yeah.
Okay.
It's on
important. Is this a safety thing?
It's a safety thing. They feel like it's a distraction. Like it's not like a TV or something. But I love it because we be able to kind of talk to each other. If it's an accident, we can kind of talk it out. It's like, hey man, it's an accident. Get off the interstate. Don't come this way. It's been shut down for 2 hours.
Right.
That's
I've been on the highway. The first thing I do in traffic is go find a truck and say, what's going on?
Right. Because we know.
They always know.
Man, they're doing away with it. It sucks. But you can kind of bypass it in the trucks too if you're willing to kind of go the extra mile.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love CBs. We still talk though.
Yeah.
We talk about politics, a little bit of everything.
What is your favorite OTR event that you've ever attended?
Easy. Happy Trucking New Year.
Ooh,
let's go.
Happy Trucking. That's what we spent a lot of time together last year. Happy Trucking New Year is awesome. I'm so sad we didn't get to do it this year. This is partly why we're doing this. And we will give away $2,021 on one of our next webinars because we do that at Happy Trucking New Year. So
can I get?
No, well, you're part of this, so you got to help give it away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna give away again $2,021.
Okay.
at one of these next webinars. So stay tuned, subscribe to OTR TV, and make sure you continue to follow us.
Yes.
Let's see. What is your favorite thing, or what do you love most about trucking?
Traveling.
Really?
Seeing different
Where's
stuff.
your favorite place to go?
Florida.
Really?
Yeah, the reason why I say Florida because it's always cold around when it's wintertime. Florida seemed to be like 71 degrees, 68 degrees. So I always enjoyed it going that direction when it was time to do a load. Because I always knew it was warm. I could let my window down, turn my music up, and just have a good time. Okay. So Florida's one of the places.
Love it. What is your favorite, let's see, or what perception of trucking would you want to change?
Yeah, that we're not professional. We've done our due diligence on getting our CDLs and being safe as possible. But people look at us like we're just unprofessional all the time, like we're renegades on the road, and that's so annoying. I meet so many professional guys out here that do their job every single day. You get people that flip us off because we were moving too slow, we couldn't merge over fast enough. We keeping drivers and other people in mind all the time as we drive. Right. I just wish people give us more respect. We deserve it. We're professionals. Everybody else get called professionals. When they come to us, it's like, oh, they almost ran me off the road. Those guys are mean. They're not professional. Or they're not smart. But we are. We just trying to take care of our families.
Right.
We just want to be professional as possible. Just give us our just do. We're professionals.
We're the backbone of America.
We are.
You deliver everything.
Right. We do.
You eat it, drink it, use it. It was brought by a truck.
There we go.
Your
favorite shirt, your favorite shoes, your favorite CDs. We deliver it all.
Right. Everything.
So put a little respect on it. Give us the respect that we deserve.
Thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
that's what's
absolutely.
Up. Can I get that 2021?
No, you cannot.
Okay. Sure.
All right. So let's see. We've got what's a good group, like Facebook group? Let's see, like some sort of how have you networked in trucking?
Ooh, that's a good one too, because before COVID, I would just go pass my cards around trucking conventions, just different things. Facebook, Instagram, get on these platforms when they're talking about trucking. So I think I had the best experiences going out talking to people face to face, and jumping in their Instagram DM like, hey man, how did you do that? Do you mind giving me some advice when you get a moment, or can I call you at a certain time? Or, get in the comments like we're doing right now, genuinely asking those questions, the question you really need. You'll be surprised how many people will respond to you, and all you got to do is just reach out to them.
Right.
Yeah, just that simple. That networking right there is everything. I've made a lot of money off of networking. Just open my mouth up.
In talking about saving, one of the things that we were talking about before is OTR obviously offers two programs, recourse and non-recourse. Recourse, we would hold a reserve. That's standard. Yeah. Non-recourse, we don't hold a reserve. But we do have tons of clients that ask us to hold money in reserve for them. If they don't see it, they don't spend it, and they know they want to
so it's like a savings.
Exactly. And we can do that. We can, at times we'll hold 500, 1,000, 2,000. And if the carrier says, okay, I'm ready, I blew a tire, or I just need it, or I just want to hold it for something. Yeah.
So how does it work? So do I just you take it out? Can I get it anytime I want to?
Anytime you want. I mean, that's the greatest part about having an account manager and a dedicated team is that we know you, we know your account, we keep a running tally of something like that. So if you need your savings, we can get it right to you.
So do y'all give me a check, or do y'all put it direct deposit?
Same way we would pay you on your invoices. It goes right to your account. But this way we've had people say in the past, like, hey, that last breakdown really almost killed me. Right. I don't want to ever have to worry about that again. And so we would start holding a little bit of money, and we can do that as well. So if that's ever something you're interested in, just talk to your account manager. But that's a little trick that we do as well that helps everybody. Yeah.
So if you really see the money, it just pulls out.
Right. But it's there.
It's there.
Anytime you want it. Cool. And well, we're all about helping make you more successful.
There we go. That's the main reason for this right here.
Yeah, we keep adding things.
There we go.
When we first started, we invoiced off of paper. And I don't know if you know that we're paperless now. I mean, the technology, it's incredible.
Go ahead now.
The portal.
Yep, the portal. I like the portal, yes.
Oh, OTR Bolt. Have you heard about that one?
No, I think I may have read something about it.
Yeah, well, it's the new offering. So we pay you instantly right to your bank account. It's faster than a wire. We prioritize the invoices and the payments immediately.
We say instant, like right now, if I say, hey, I send the invoice.
We verify the invoice always.
So I send the invoice and you verify it.
We verify it. When we go to pay it and we post it, it goes directly to your debit card
before the time, like before.
Like normally a wire would take an hour or two, a couple hours. Or if you send it over, it's probably to you around 3, 4, 5 o'clock. The bolt payment is instant. It's an instant payment. It's the
sweet. So you can pay for
offered.
breakdowns and tires, just like that.
Right.
So you have to do checks and waiting on stuff and pulling from the fuel card.
We've been saying like delivered status means paid status.
Let's go.
And well, we're always trying. So
turn it up then. I see y'all.
All right, let me see if I've got any other questions. What laws were passed that you think hurt the industry, if any?
The e-log, they change it up so
really?
Often. Yeah.
The hours of service.
The hours of service. Yeah. The hours of service. Yeah. They play with it too much to me. They don't understand the business like we do. I wish the Congress or whoever's setting all this stuff up or get behind the wheel and understand that the way y'all looking at it from y'all office, it doesn't work for us. So the regulations they put on, it's kind of strenuous on the drivers. It's exhausting from all the rules they put on us. I wish they got behind the wheel and drove and they can see that doesn't make sense. Right. This does. But it's easy to call the shots when you sit back and you disconnect it with the driver. Walk a day in my shoes and you can see how I feel. So the hours of services, it's really bad for us, I think. I wish one day they get it together. I think OIDA does a good job of trying to. Yeah, they do. They do with that stuff. And be a member of OIDA because they always fight for us. Right. Yeah, they do. They always on Congress back. We talked a little bit about social media groups and chat groups. Are you a part of any trucking organizations? We just talked about OIDA. Are there any others? No, I'm not. Actually, I'm not. I'm trying to build my little following up on the trucking side. I'm going to just be honest with you. This is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this platform because I have so much information to give out. Right. And I'm new to social media. Right. So I'm willing. Anybody who want to, you and me both. Yeah, collab. Yeah. Anybody want to collab with me and jump in our DM and let's talk about it. I want to be a part of anything that's out here that's positive, that's going to push us forward. Awesome. Well, so let's see. I think that is most all of our questions. Yeah, I mean, it's 8:47. Yes. Really? Yeah. Flew by. This was so much fun. Delmard, thank you so much for coming. Yeah, I had a great time. Well, you're going to be back because we have a lot more to talk about. Yes, we'll cover a lot of other stuff. I can't wait. If you're watching and you still have questions or comments, throw them up, especially if you watch this as a recorded video. Would love to hear from you all what you want to talk about. We'll make sure Delmard covers it next time. I've had so much fun. Yeah, thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you for having me too. Trailer Strong on Instagram and Facebook as well. Absolutely. Follow Delmard. Follow OTR. And subscribe to OTR TV. Thanks for being here. Have a great night. Bye.